see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, September 19th, 2024, and welcome to episode 777, Lucky Sevens of the Lots Project Morning Show, where the coffee is strong, the opinions are stronger, and everything is always filter-free. I'm Brian, your host, and today we're enjoying FTO Blonde Espresso from foodforestfarms.com, where you can always get 10% off with discount code LOTS10, LOTS10, and the shipping's always free. While you're there, check out C4 Club and all the benefits that come with it. Today we'll be discussing how laws make everything better, a shitty Etsy seller that I've run into, now twice. I went back. That's my fault. USPS bullshit and more. It's going to be a lively discussion, so grab a cup of coffee and let's get to it. But first, let's check in with the coffee crew in the live chat, see who's hanging out, and we will get to the topics soon here. Good morning, Pip. Thanks. Appreciate that. Appreciate that over there, Pip. How's everybody doing? Jim over on Noster, good morning to you. Thanks for popping in over there. John, are you got some insomnia or something? You got a little something going on? John Palmer in first again. I think that's twice this week now. Good morning and good day to you. Off-grid ping over in the vertical feed. Thanks for popping in. Food Forest Farms, good morning. Pip says opinions are like diapers. We all know they stink. And good morning, humans. And now he's trying to backtrack and get all apologetic. He says, not saying yours stink. Some of mine are rancid beyond belief, man. I understand that. Good morning, Hunter over on Twitch. Thanks for popping in. And a big old zap from Jim over on Noster. Appreciate that for sure, man. I definitely appreciate that. That covers the stream. Stream is covered over there on Noster. Appreciate it. So yeah, FTO Blonde Espresso this morning. It's pretty damn good. It is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorites when I get my C4 box. Speaking of which, we'll talk about that in a little bit with the USPS topic a little later today. But FTO Blonde Espresso is it's pretty phenomenal. Foodforestfarms.com is where you can get that. If it's in the box, I'm never disappointed. Let's just say that. Brian's done a fantastic job with this blend. Good morning, Canadian Farmstead. We got a Festool ad. And he says, good morning to all you shiny, happy people. A reference back to yesterday's episode on the loony bins in the fundamentalist movement with Bill Gothard and the Duggars. The Duggars, yeah. That was interesting. I'm still kind of contemplating and bouncing that shit around in my head. It makes me sad a little bit. It makes me slightly sad that there's people in that system. Canadian Farmstead said they don't sound like fundamental Christians to me. Yeah. I mean, so it's this weird line you walk as an anarchist, as a voluntarist, as someone that believes that people should be able to do whatever the fuck they want, as long as it's not hurting anybody. But I think that's where it really, really digs into me is the second generation. Hearing the stories of the kids that were born into this and were educated, quote unquote, educated through this system and didn't know anything different and were taught and beat beat into them, literally, these ideals. And the fact that they made a whole generation of women in their society dependent on men, uneducated, really, dependent on men financially. They don't teach them any skills, how to get a job, and they're basically taught that they're owned by their father and then their husband. What are you doing? Give them a chance. Give them a chance. Off-Grid Ping says, that was weird. I was in the vertical feed, but it wasn't vertical when I went to the vertical feed, and I came back, and now it's right. Is the vertical feed not vertical? Oh, I didn't. Shit. What happened there? Hold on. I gotta change that real quick. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense for it to be running. Shit. Well, I gotta end that. Whoops. I forgot to I forgot to hit the button. I forgot to hit the button, and I don't think it's going to work, guys. I'm sorry. I'm gonna take a minute to do this. I'm sorry. I apologize. We've gotten pretty decent views. Shit. Anyway, well, not today. Let's get back to it. Sunshine the God, good morning. Thanks for stopping in. What up with you? Looks like we're rolling with just the vertical today. Food Forest Farm says sounds just like the Foxconn slaves having kids to work in the plant. Same. Yeah, pretty much. Canadian Farmstead says it's okay. You're new to this. Yeah, 777 episodes. Hey, lucky number 777 today. Thanks for being around, guys, for all that time. John Palmer says fucking it up again. Yeah. I guess I'm gonna have to lay the blame on moving it to dark mode. StreamYard all of a sudden offered dark mode, and I flipped over to dark mode, and now I keep fucking shit up every day. I think there's been something every day since I went to dark mode. Good morning over on YouTube now, Jim. So does anybody... Canadian Farm says, don't throw your laptop into the woods. I don't have a laptop anymore. It got fried by lightning. I only have this little mini computer sitting on the desk. I don't take it out to the woods. So I will avoid throwing the computer into the woods. Anybody notice these new things here? I wish you could read them. I don't think the camera's good enough. I was messing with it earlier to try to get them someplace where you could read them. This is an interesting little product I got in the mail. I started talking to them last week. It was an I saw the product on the Shopify collaborations. They popped up in my, hey, we think you're a match. And I'm like, what the fuck is this thing? It's called Tickster, Tick meter, excuse me. Tick meter. TICKR. Ticker meter. And what they are is a desktop stock or crypto price. Let me see if I get the non-shiny on here. Price display. So this updates every 5 minutes. It's pretty customizable. You can pick just a bevy of cryptos or stocks. This light here on the side, this side is green or red. This can be turned on or off. Green or red, depending on if it's up or down for the day. So it's pretty interesting. So right now I got one. They sent a 2-pack and then a base. And they magnetize on top of each other, and then the base sits on there. These are pretty much for your desk. I was hoping that they were big enough that you could read them from back here, and we could talk about Bitcoin. Sorry, my arm still isn't working the best, but the pain is going away a little bit. But we can leave them up there, and we can tell a green and red for sure. And if you guys need updates on the Bitcoin price, just let me know, and I can turn around instantly and tell you what the price is in the last 5 minutes. I think it's a novelty thing. I got a link and free shipping is what they gave me. They gave me a free sample and free shipping, no discount code, just free shipping. But I do earn a little bit if you're interested in having some of these on your desk. I don't know yet. I don't know if I recommend them yet. I don't know. It's interesting. I got them yesterday. I plugged them in. They're really easy to set up and connect. They connect to your Wi-Fi. And I guess for keeping an eye on price, they said that, people get distracted quite a bit when they're checking the price on their phone constantly and then doing other shit on their phone. And if this was just sitting on your desk, sitting on your counter, sitting on top of your TV, at a glance, I guess you could tell what the price is of all your stock portfolios. They also have some settings where you can track gains and losses, blah blah blah, and all of that. So I don't know. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna do some videos for them, and thought I would let you guys know that my plan didn't work. My plan to God damn, that's hot. My plan to have it up there behind and have the Bitcoin price going just didn't work. So anyway, that's one of the new products I got in the mail yesterday. Also picked up a nice little multi-tool keychain. This is a kind of cool one. Has a number 11 X-Acto blade as the blade in it, and I think he said 10 total tools on the keychain. So that one's called the Level Gear Edge XT. So anyway, enough of the products sitting around here. Sorry, I'm on the shoulder. It's turning around and lifting it up like that was kind of rough. Sorry. To the topics today. I wanted to hit on this vape article from yesterday. I didn't quite get to it. Got wrapped up in talking about fundamental Christians. Didn't get to vapes being illegal. But I was scrolling through, I don't know if it was on Facebook or the news or whatever, and I see I see the headline, and the headline was "Smart Vapes," quote unquote, "Smart Vapes are the latest illegal e-cigarette trend." Jim says waking up to 62K is better than 58K. The 58K gang, man, they got it right. It sat at 58. I think she's probably going to end up back at 58 before it's not. But I made a meme up the one day and posted it up, and I said, one day you'll see 58K for the last time and you won't even know it. Just like the one time you'll play with your friends for the last time and you won't even know it. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Anyway, the term smart vapes, first of all, caught my eye, and then the rest of the title just sucked me in. Like, whoever wrote that title might have wrote it for me to get sucked into the article. Smart vapes are the latest illegal e-cigarette trend. It says so much in just the title. Illegal e-cigarette trend. First of all, if making shit illegal is effective at all, why do we have an illegal e-cigarette trend? If making things illegal made any bit of difference, how is it trending? How is it a trend? Canadian Farm says that AI wrote the headline. It might have. It very well. It very well might have. It was written by VJ Mayer, CEO of Southern Association of Wholesale Distributors. Pip says, if it wasn't illegal, then what would make people want it more? True. And Food Forest Farm says, just bought 3 single-use vapes so I don't get arrested for smoking real weed in Ohio. Isn't Ohio a recreational state? Or is it only medical? I know a couple folks in Ohio that I thought that they transitioned to at least medical, possibly recreational. I don't know. I don't keep up on Ohio's laws. Did you know that there's more astronauts from Ohio than any other state? There's got to be a reason they all want to fucking leave the planet. Canadian Farmstead says, you mean someone in the industry wrote something negative about a product from outside the system? Can't be. Well, here's the thing. Do you guys remember when the big thing about vapes was the, what was it called? Popcorn lung? That everybody that vaped was gonna end up in the hospital with popcorn lung. Remember when that was a thing? Like one kid like was doing power vaping and doing these fucking retarded videos on TikTok in these huge clouds of vape smoke, and he ends up fucking up his lungs, weird, and ends up in the hospital with popcorn lung. And then all of a sudden every news station in the world is warning parents that all their kids are going to die from popcorn lung. Did they all die? Did all the kids die? Or was this just mass hysteria by the media and the government to get kids to stop vaping? Like, we'll scare them out of vaping. But they didn't do that. They kept doing it. They just rolled along like no problem. Food Forest Farm says, oh, the smoking's a fire issue at the venue, issuing $5,000 tickets and tossing folks out. Interesting. Jim says, my grandkids and their friends don't vape because of popcorn lung. I had this discussion at a birthday party. Well, I mean, at least it got your grandkids and their friends to stop vaping. But it hasn't done a great job, because in this article, I think it says, where is it here? The sale of e-cigarettes has been steadily increasing, according to the most available retail data from the CDC. This study found that 22.7 million units were sold in December of 2022. 2022? Why is our data so dated? Meaning hundreds of millions of units sold annually in the U.S. Currently, about 90% of these products are manufactured in China to skirt the FDA regulations and elude custom officials. These products often enter the U.S. hidden in cargo containers and are misdeclared as various items such as toys or shoes and listed with incorrect values. So basically, it's from what I understand, the FDA wanted to get kids to stop vaping. So they made it illegal. And the kids said, we still want to vape. So China, in all its glory, decided, we're going to make these vapes, and we're going to send them hidden in cargo containers. But the fucked up part is they sell them at the convenience store. They're illegal, I guess. They made the laws so ambiguous that these convenience store owners just get these. They order the products, they put them on the shelves, and they're like, I don't know. it sounds as though these new smart vapes, they're making them so they have like video games in them. They can like play small video games, so they like hide it. It's like, it's not a vape, it's my video game. Shit like that. They're disguising them as they're disguising them as all sorts of different shit. And I wholeheartedly believe, as somebody said earlier, you make it illegal, and the kids are just going to want to do it more. The last part of this article says, where was it here? To combat this crisis, state level intervention. So the FDA isn't bad enough. We need state level intervention is crucial. Legislation establishing pre-market tobacco product application directories, which would require manufacturers to verify their product's authorization status, could significantly enhance enforcement efforts. Encouragingly, some states have taken proactive measures. Multiple states have implemented e-cigarette directories to differentiate between legal and illegal products, imposing fines on retailers that sell illicit vapes, and nearly 24 other states are contemplating similar legislation. Moving forward, state-level action will be critical to curtail the distribution of harmful, disposable State-level action will be critical to curtail the distribution of harmful disposables in schools while ensuring adults retain access to legal, regulated vapes, often used as smoking cessation aids. For you guys that are in states, so was it a federal law that raised the age to buy cigarettes to 21? Is that a nationwide thing? I don't know. Somebody told me that you have to be 21 to buy cigarettes now. Is that nationwide, or is that just a state to state thing? Jamie says, Off-Grid Pink says, man, one of the kids at my work had one of those played music. Yeah, they're interesting for sure. Pip says, stop vaping and start smoking real cigarettes. We need your tax money and healthcare services. Jim says, what is it? They say the tobacco industry needs 1,000 new smokers a day to stay even. Is that true, or some anti-smoking line of shit? I don't know. Do 1,000 smokers die a day, or quit a day? I don't know. Okay, so it's 21. How old do you have to be to buy weed in a recreational marijuana state? Hunter says, now that would be a terror attack if you could pop the batteries in all of the vapes. Oh, guys, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the pager attack. Anyway, how old do you have to be to buy weed? Canadian Farmstead says it's 19 in Canada to buy cigarettes, same as alcohol. I have to believe it's 21, right? Alcohol, tobacco, pot. Some of the states you can buy mushrooms, and I'm pretty sure, is it Oregon? Canadian Farmstead says it's 19 to buy weed as well. Hey, Brian, everything's legal in Washington State. How old do you have to be to buy weed in Washington? John Palmer says 21 in Oklahoma to buy weed. Food Forest Farms wants to x-ray people's phones for $20 to make sure there's no bombs in them. Okay, so in Washington State, for medical, if you have a medical card, I suppose that's medical, 18 to purchase marijuana and 21 for recreational. But we'll still take an 18-year-old or younger in some cases and give them a firearm and send him into the desert to get his brains blown out, arms blown off, legs blown off, or to kill brown people, whatever happens first. Can't buy a joint, can't buy a beer, but you can go play kill brown people. You war machine. Fucking bullshit. Yeah. Anyway, the core of this article was the fact, bless you, dear, to me was they want to legislate everything. And this is something I've known for a long time. God bless you, dear. And it doesn't work. Every time you see it. Oh, what was it? Prohibition? That worked well. But we have to make things illegal to raise revenue, to dissuade the few that weren't going to do it anyway. And it seems from the data, when they do something like this, all it does is increase users. All it does is bring attention to it. I don't know. First, they try to scare you with the popcorn lung, and then they make it illegal, and then they're going to make it illegal, even more illegal. I don't know. It just caught me one day. I was pretty fired up when I read it, and I was like, whatever. At least there aren't the cigarette butts laying around the fence at the school where they have to walk out to the property line. How many of you in the audience had a property line at your school where the smokers went? Where it was just over the property line where the school couldn't do anything about it, and usually there was a cool neighbor's house that was next to the school that you could stand just outside the reach of the authority of the school. And the principal is standing there going, those fuckers, the minute they walk onto that school property with a cigarette in their hand, I'm gonna fucking suspend them. Is that only our school? The smoker's fence. Anyway, that was the vapes. It blows my mind the amount of time, resources, effort that legislators, I mean, they're justifying their job. I get why it happens, but it blows my mind how much time, resources, and energy they spend on just shit that doesn't matter. In the end, it doesn't matter. Sorry, Herschel, if you're listening to this. It just doesn't fucking matter. Anyway, let's move on. I have dealt with this Etsy seller a couple times now. This girl, she's who we bought our snail food from. And by the way, the snails are doing well. They're just kind of on hold until we figure out our moving internet situation. I have a couple projects on hold because we're now taking our internet out to Delinquent's Gully every weekend that we go out and then bringing it back. And it's just, from what I'm digging into, starting and stopping. John Palmer says he's got it. He says, has to be illegal to have a war declared on it. The war on drugs! The war on tobacco! But as soon as we get solid internet, when we get in one spot, those projects are on the docket. So live stream for the snails. They're doing well. They're doing well. Our grow outs are growing well. I don't think it's going to be a. Pip says we need the war on education. I don't know if it's going to be a production model at this point. I'm thinking it's more of an entertainment thing for Corey. She loves sitting watching them. I think they're pretty cool to watch. They're not a lot of maintenance, and I think the live streams will be good. And the videos are good. We're just not taking much video. We're not doing it much with them until we're ready to fire it up live again. So that's an update on the snails. But because of the snails, I had to buy some snail food. I didn't have to, but I was just searching out for it. We can feed them frozen vegetables and everything, but they do need other stuff than what they're going to get in frozen vegetables. So this girl I found on Etsy sells snail food. She orders bulk supplies, she mixes it together, and she sells it. I thought that was pretty cool. Her good morning, Backwoods Butcher. Thanks for popping in. She it's a fair price. The ad was written well. She had good reviews, this, that. So I was like, yeah, I'll order some. So last time I ordered some, I ordered it. I got the notification that it shipped, and it didn't show up, and it didn't show up, and it had been a few days, and it didn't move in the tracking, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Let me send her a message. So I reached out through Etsy and I said, hey, what's going on? She said, I just got a call this morning, actually, that the post office misplaced your package, and they found it, and it should be on the way today or tomorrow. And I'm like, that's weird, but okay. All right. It shows up. We used it. The snails like it. It was okay. I mean, I don't know the difference. It's the only, like, I don't have anything to compare it to, but the snails ate it up. They seemed to like it. Corey would make it. It was easy to, Backwoods Butcher, when are you going to do your stand-up routine? Because that's just a zinger right there. Backwoods Butcher says, sounds like real snail mail. Ah! Jesus fuck. Oh, man. So it shows up. It works. We bought enough. It'd be... Jim says he used to make his own cockroach food as feeders. Nutrition was important to customers because they'd gut load food. Yeah, they'd gut load the feed, which would gut load the reptiles. That's a very common practice. So we used the food. We went through it for how much you get. It was a very fair price. And so when Corey started to run out, she's like, hey, I need more snail food. So I pop on Etsy and I find my previous orders and I ordered up. She's like, just order the same thing you got before. It was like a variety pack of flavors and then a dewormer when we add snails we find out in nature. Bring them in, we feed them around a dewormer, and then just routinely just drop them some dewormer just to make sure. And so I go on, I find the listing and I order it up. And the next day I got a shipping notification that says your item is shipped. Should arrive the 15th through the 16th. So I waited. I was like, okay, 15th, 16th. It got to the 16th and I didn't see it. I was just looking. I was just curious where it was in the mail. And I go to the tracking number and it hadn't moved. Label was created. Post office didn't have it. Now, I do enough of Etsy shipping. I do enough of USPS labels and this and that. I understand that when you print the label on through Etsy, it sends the customer a notification that the item has been shipped. Post office doesn't start updating tracking until you take it to the post office and scan it in. That's kind of a fault in the system. Pip says, I thought Nicole said that the Backwoods Butcher stand-up half hour was going on at SRF. Thank God I found a source for rotten tomatoes. I hope my shoulder heals up by then, or I might have to throw lefty. So I reach out. So I know exactly what happened. She set up her Etsy account, and weird, I've only been doing this shit for 7-ish years with Comfrey, and among other items on Etsy. So she sets up her account to look like it's super fast shipping. 2-day turnaround, something like that. She writes in the bottom of the description that it could take up to a week for her to make it. Then when she gets an order, she just goes right in and prints the label and doesn't mail the product. So I'm like, all right. I send her a message and I'm like, hey, I was just looking for an update on my snail food. I said, I ordered it because you said your shipping time was this amount. I'm running low. I need the shit. Has it shipped yet? Now, I already remember that she said that the post office lost her shit the last time. And I'm like, bullshit. That's just bullshit. She lied to me. I can't prove it, but I believe she lied to me the first time. So I was like, what the fuck? Where is it? I was very polite. I said, hey, I need this. I have to drive a little ways to get my packages. I want to know when it's there so I can make sure I get it when it arrives. Blah, blah, blah. I don't see any tracking whatsoever. And she writes me this like novel about how horrible her life is and how busy she is and how little money she makes off per sale and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, none of that is my problem. I mean, it is because I don't have my snail food, basically. That she does it to help snail owners, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. You listed the item and you printed the shipping label, which notified me of the arrival date, and it hasn't even been made yet. And so I wrote her back and I said, I was very, very nice, respectful, and pleasant in the email, as I know it's hard to believe. But I said, first off, this could all be rectified with communication. I get that your life gets busy. I understand. I understand that it's not your top priority, but it could all be handled through communication with your customers. Etsy has a very easy messaging function for orders. It's right there. It says contact buyer. You write them a note. Hey, your stuff is going to ship probably on Monday. I got backed up in orders. Whatever bullshit you want to tell them. I said the second thing is you can change your shipping expectations in Etsy. The turnaround time, the lead time before it even gets processed, the shipping time once it gets shipped. I ship once a week for my listings. That's blatantly listed out there. It's in the settings. It shows expected delivery date. It all takes that into account. And so I said, I told her all of this. I was like, I just want my snail food. It's all. Like, I just need to know when it's going to come, because I need to know if I need to go get some frozen vegetables to feed the little fuckers if it's not going to show up for 4 or 5 more days. And I wake up the next day and she refunded my order. She's like, I don't need this bullshit. I don't make enough money to read these emails. And I'm like, okie dokie. Looks like I'm finding another source for my fucking snail food. But literally all I was trying to do was tell her, hey, this wouldn't have been an issue. It wouldn't have been even close to an issue if you had communicated with your customer and you had properly set up your listing to show that it might take a week or two for it to show up, which was perfectly fine with me if I knew that. Jim says, oh, time to start sourcing snail food and let the competition begin. Well, and the fucked up part was, okay, when I had conversations with her before, I just took the post office as being the post office is losing shit. And I was like, no. Until it happened again. And I was like instantly like, yeah, that was bullshit. She just didn't ship it. And I wanted to talk to her about a partnership when we did the live stream to help her sell snail food. To be a sponsor, maybe send me a big bucket of snail food and I'll put your logo or your information or whatever in all the live streams. Her product is decent. Her product was decent. Glad I didn't go down that road. So glad. Food Forest Farm says, don't help the plebs. They will hate you for it. Canadian Farmstead says, I'm looking forward to Brian writing the sequel to How to Win Friends and Influence People. Mike Homestead said, learn from John Willis, just missed the shipping in 8 to 12 weeks. Yeah, it wasn't. I went back and looked at the listing. No. The problem is, now here is the deal. The biggest problem is she printed the label. She printed the label. I got a notification that the item has shipped and it gave me the date it's supposed to be here. If she hadn't have done that, if she waited until her products were good and they were going to go out the next day and she printed the labels and it had been a week and a half, I would have went to the listing and been like, oh, it said it could take this amount of time. She printed the fucking labels and that was her problem because it notified me and I made plans according to the fact that it was telling me when it should arrive here. Jim says, send an email pitching the Daily Stoic. Food Forest Farm says, did she have more than 1-star rating? She does. She does. She actually does. I'm done with her, though. So whatever. So that was the snail food. Now I'm sourcing new snail food. Jim says we should make a side hustle out of it. I don't know. She said she was making $2 a package. So her packages of snail food were like 8 something. She was making $2 on the VIG after fees and everything. So, I mean, if you could do volume. Jim says she was a shipping label tease. Yeah, John Palmer reminds me that that was a little fiery. And this next little bit is going to be a little fiery too. Food Forest Farms. Food Forest Farms. And my shipping. So here is this is how I deal with shit that happens on Etsy. That isn't even my fault. So that lazy bitch just didn't make her shit that she sold. She offered a product for sale. She said that it was on its way. She didn't fucking do it. And then when I asked her about it, she got pissed at me. When I tried to tell her, you don't need to do it right away, but you just need to fucking talk to people about it, she canceled my order. Whatever. Fuck her. Backwards Mister says, you make snail food on the internet, you dumb bitch. So here's a similar situation, but not even similar at all. I sell on Etsy. I clearly and blatantly list and set up the shipping expectations that we ship once a week. Even if it runs long, we have a little leeway there. I also know that you can go in and change it if something goes sideways in your life, like she's claiming happened, and extend it up to 3 times. There's no reason for you to your customer to get a message until it's actually ready to ship through Etsy. You're not going to get fucking dinged or anything like that. So we had a customer order some roots. My man Brian fulfilled the order. It was going from Seattle to New York. Package showed up, and it took a little long to get there. It was during that super hot wave, and the roots were moldy, like they had fuzzy mold on it. First time I'd ever seen it. Customer writes me and says, "Hey, received a package. The roots had mold on them," and she included pictures. She's like, "I'm not sure what's going on. I think it was the weather." I completely agreed, and the shipping time. The USPS is absolutely fucking horrific. And I was like, immediately, I sent pictures to Brian. I said, "Dude, we got to resend this order." Absolutely. He's in agreement. All we want to do is take care of our customers. So the next Monday, I said, "Hey, we ship on Mondays. The next Monday, it'll go out in the mail. When you get it, let me know. Let's make sure that the order's right." She's like, "Okay, perfect." I said, "Do you want a refund or you want us to send you another one?" I said, "I'd prefer to send you another one so that you get your plants. You get what you intended in the beginning. But if you're on a timeline, you don't want to order from me, or you're concerned, I'm more than happy to refund you." She says, "No, let's give it another try." So I said, "Brian, we need to ship out another order on Monday, blah, 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 blah." Okay, cool. It goes out. USPS. Okay, we all know what the United States looks like, right? Even Canadian Farmstead. Even Canadian Farmstead knows what the U.S. looks like. We got Washington over here. This is all fucking backwards. You got Washington over here. You got New York over here. USPS took this fucking package on a delivery from Seattle to San Jose, California. And then it disappeared for like 3 or 4 days on the tracking. Like MIA, no updates, no moving, no nothing. And then it shows up in Newark, New Jersey, heads to Philadelphia, sits for a couple days, doesn't move. She got it yesterday. So what was that? It was shipped on Monday, and it showed up the following Wednesday. And went on a fucking tour of the U.S. I had already told Brian. We're probably going to have to refund her when it didn't show up by Monday or Tuesday. It was just like in purgatory, fucking sitting in the post office purgatory, not moving, no updates or anything. He's like, "Yeah, I get it. No, yeah, perfect." Brian and I are both over the top for customer service. That's why you should really consider joining the C4 Club. Like, seriously. He is all about customer service. So she gets it. I said, "Hey, I want to refund you." She goes, No. Let's wait till it shows up. This is a fantastic customer. Let's wait till it shows up and we'll see what happens. If it's fine, then you don't need to give me money because it's a small business. Like, I understand I understand what's going on. It's not your fault. It's post office. You shipped it. You provided the number. And so she gets it yesterday. She sends me a message. She's like, the routes looked absolutely fine. There's no need for a refund. I'm sorry you're having issues with the post office. Now, what the fuck is going on with the post office? Because yesterday, my C4 package, Brian also sent me some extra coffee for SRF. He sent 2 boxes at the same time from the same location, going to the same, ending up in the same location with the same shipping priority. And one showed up yesterday and one's going to show up today. I've also been getting all sorts of, I follow a lot of tracking numbers because companies send me tracking numbers when they send out products. And I want to make sure that the avalanche pile of boxes that happens at Jamie's when I get product samples, or when it's almost Corey's birthday and she starts getting packages. Sorry, Jamie. Holy shit, that was a big pile that day. The tracking has been just ungodly with USPS lately. I have no idea what's going on. And I tell you, fucking Memphis is a black hole. Food Forest Farm says, I put them in the air freight bin in the back of the post office. They let me sort them out, and they were literally touching each other. John Palmer says, nothing like government employee service. Yeah, it's I don't know, guys. I talked to Brian, and between the increase in price since I started doing comfrey routes, the increase in price, the decrease in service, the lag time. When I first started shipping comfrey routes, regular post office mail, in a bubble pack, it cost me $2.85. And I was overweighing. I was doubling the weight just to make sure it comes in. $2.85, I believe. And it would get there. I would mail it on Monday, and it would be there on Wednesday. Not priority, not 2-day, not nothing. Maybe Thursday, depending on where it was going. And I understand I was in Minnesota and I was in the middle, and it was mailing out. There was like no place across the country. But seriously, regular service mail for an order of comfrey routes is now pushing $5 for shipping if I do the same weight. $6, almost $6. And it's showing up a week later. That to me is unacceptable. That to me is making me question whether I want to do it anymore, whether I need to raise prices and ship USP or UPS or FedEx or something else. You can't have the highest level of customer service when you have a middleman that you rely on that is incompetent. Food Forest Farm says priority for live plants, more dough. Yeah, the problem is the price point and the juice and the squeeze. Like you said earlier, no margins, no business, no mission. We got bigger plans, though. We got bigger plans. Pip says you got to repay the retired workers' pension somehow. right? Did I miss anything fantastic here? The live chat got covered with my blind rage for the post office. Anyway, yeah, it's bad news. The post office is bad news. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We're on a mission to Jim says I'm way behind on comments. Sorry. We're going to just skip ahead today. If you had a fantastic comment that you want me to read, just put it in the comments again. Pip says, how much is the USPS in debt for? A few $100 million. God, if you could only add it all up. Another thing on my list today is I got a random PayPal notification yesterday. So I get some of my affiliate stuff, payouts, things like that require PayPal. I get PayPal notifications. Oh, you got this commission, blah blah blah. Blah, blah, blah. Jim says, if these snails are going to be so upsetting, it's not the snails, it's the Comfrey. It's the fucking post office that has me upset. Says maybe you should look at the Bloomingdale's management program again. I'm not management material. I don't play well with others. I need to manage myself and myself only. So I get PayPal stuff quite often, random one-offs. I have a couple of companies that literally their company name on PayPal is nothing related or close to their front-facing company name, and so I'll get like a commission from like three months earlier because it's a quarterly thing, and I'm like, who the fuck sent me money? I mean, I like money, but who I'd like to know who's sending it to me so I could do more of whatever I have to do to get it. So yesterday I get a PayPal app notification. You get the little P, and I got the email. It says you received a payment from, and it didn't say who. So I opened the email and it says, you've received a payment from the Federal Trade Commission. Why is the government paying me money through PayPal? I was like, interesting. What's this all about? So I scrolled down a little bit, and I mean, it was huge payment, guys. I actually did what Canadian Farmstead was alluding to earlier, and just picked up everything and threw it in the woods. The computer, the monitors, the camera, the microphone, everything. With this payment, guys, I don't even know if I need to do the show anymore. I don't even know if Corey needs to work anymore. The Federal Trade Commission sent me $18.65. And I looked in the notes, and it said, for class action settlement suit against cafepress.com. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I rattled my brain around a little bit. I shake the cobwebs out. I get them synapses firing in all directions. And I went, oh yeah, I remember taking a couple of seconds to fill out a form from an email I got that somebody was suing Cafe Press for overcharging processing fees or something. I can't even remember what the fees they overcharged for, but I used Cafe Press in 2015. When we started the farm, we made some merch for the farm. I think I might have sold like 3 or 4 t-shirts. Like, I'm guessing that the class action settlement I got might have been more than the commissions I earned from selling my items. I can't remember. We bought a bunch. We bought a bunch too to sell on hand. But I was like, interesting. I've never really, I guess I've gotten like a $2 check from a class action suit. But really, guys, if you think about it, I do recall filling out the form, and basically the email came, and I kind of hesitated for a minute. I looked at I Googled the lawyer, and it came right up that they were doing the suit. So that took all of like 10 seconds. I clicked on the link, and basically they had my information. So it was an email address and a PayPal address. Submit. So all in, I was probably under 20 seconds. So if we got 20 seconds times 3, so we got 3 times 60. So we're looking at for doing this shit, if I could get a full-time job filling out class action emails, I could be making $3,300 an hour. You guys know of anybody that's suing a lot of people? I got to fill up my time. But it was a pleasant surprise. $18 is $18. I mean, that's almost enough to hang out with Kyle for a little while at SRF. Because you never know what he'll do for 20. Oh, man. And last on the list today, as we're here over an hour, I saw a couple posts in the last couple days from some folks that I know in real life from some different genres, but all of them have gotten into raising animals in one form or another, whether it's in their backyard as a protein source, but they're all kind of going the self-sufficiency route, the homesteading route. A couple of them are like all in on that. And I see their hesitation with animals. They're conflicted with the value of life. They're putting time into, in my opinion, lost causes. And it got me thinking about the shift that you make when you go from not raising your own food, i.e. animals, unless you're a vegetarian and then you're just growing plants, and having them as pets and being the guiding light in your life and blah, 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 and you love animals. All life is important. And you have to make that transition into, I'm raising food. They are, John Palmer says the value of life depends on how hungry I am. Well, this is more about lost causes. This is more about juice and squeeze. When an animal is born defective, I want to say, not normal, where you're going to have to put way more effort into it than it's worth. The prime example that Corey and I talk about is we got chicks in the mail, and they were like $2 a piece, $2.50 a piece, something. And the first time we got one that had splayed legs, I don't know if you know what that is, but their hips are fucked up and their legs kind of kick out and they can't walk. So we were mortified. We were like, oh my God, this poor little chick. We need to take care of it. We looked on the internet. We found out that you can take like little sticks and you can give them little Forrest Gump legs and take care of them and use rubber bands, and they may heal or they may not. And we went the extra mile. We took care of that little chick, and it ended up fucking dying anyway. And Corey said, hey, you got to take care of that thing. You have to dispatch it. It's going to be too much work for what it's worth. And we evaluated and said, this chick was $2.50. We can buy another one. It's not worth the time and the effort and all the shit to take care of it. That's what we ended up realizing. That's the hardening of a homesteader or someone that's focusing on making something as food or a product, is the evaluation of what is this going to take to make this right versus what do I get out of it. The first time I had to do it, though, was horrific. I researched hunters as quality of life too. Yeah. Oh, for sure. For the animal and for me having to deal with it. But the first time I had to deal with these chicks. So this is if you hatch chicks, if you buy chicks, and depending on the hatchery, you get a lot of this. You get a lot of splayed legs. Don't go back to that hatchery. You get a lot of you got a lot of stuff that you have to take care of. Little baby chicks. They're so fucking cute, guys. Like, how can you as a human being bring yourself to kill a baby chick? Really? And I didn't even know how to do it. I was like, you can't shoot it. You can't. I like, how do you find its jugular to cut a baby chick's throat like you would do a normal chicken? How do you dispatch a baby chick? And so I look on the internet, and there were a couple ways, and they're like, oh, well, you just take your thumb, you hold the chick, and you just snap its neck. You just go snap its neck. And I'm like, oh, okay. Sure. Let's do that. And I've hunted animals, like adult animals, deer and birds and all of that. But this is a baby chick. And so I go out. Garbage day was the next day. Garbage can was down the end of the driveway. I grabbed a plastic bag. I take the chick. The poor chick has got like I said, Forrest Gump legs. And I hold it, and I'm like, man, this is the first animal I killed on the farm. I'm pretty sure is this fucking like 2-week-old chick. So I hold it, and I take my thumb, and I mean, my hands are bigger than the chick for sure. And I put my hand on its neck, and I push it over, and I hear pop. And I'm like, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought. So I put the chick in the bag, and I tie the bag, and I'm gonna walk down to the garbage can and put it in the garbage can, and I'm kind of like contemplating with myself and really going through the emotions. And I'm like, this kind of sucked, but I understand. Like, I'm okay with it. I wasn't broke. I mean, I was a little broke up, but I was like, this is just how it is. Like, I made that switch, that hardening happened right there where like I understood that it wasn't worth $250 to try to take care of this thing. Let's just order another chicken. And I knew that there was going to be more of that if we were going to continue to homestead. And so I'm walking down to the end of the driveway, and it's like, way down on the end of our dirt road where we had to take our garbage can for the garbage truck. And all of a sudden I hear beep, 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 beep. I'm like, what the fuck? The thing was still alive in the bag. I felt absolutely horrific. I didn't know what to do. I fucking panicked. I threw the fucking bag on the ground and smashed it with my boot. And I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated. Not that I had to kill the chick, that I fucked it up. And for 3 or 4 minutes, that chick suffered in that bag with probably a broken neck, but not dead. and got up the energy to fucking peep. And I threw the thing on the ground and smashed it with the heel of my boot. After that, I found a different way to dispatch chicks. At the time, I was working at a factory, manufacturing factory that had a lab in it, and I ran the systems there. I was control room operator. I knew the engineer, I knew the chemist, and we all worked together. It was a very small company. And I asked the engineer, and I asked the engineer, Food Forest Farm says CO2. That's what I ended up doing with the quail when I was doing pet whole prey pet model. I would gas them. But before I got into that, I asked the chemist and the engineer in charge of the lab, and I said, "Hey, you guys mind if I borrow some ether?" Do you mind if I take some ether home? And they're like, no, go ahead. So I took a bottle of ether home, and man, those chicks looked so happy when they were being put down from there on out. I would take a mason jar and pour some ether in the bottom and put the chick in it and close the lid, and those little fuckers would get so high and then just go to sleep. Easy. Food Forest Farm says, "Fuck, you got ether, so you are the ether bunny." It's all gone. They wouldn't give me the whole jar. I had to take it home, and literally I had it in a container that I could smell it coming out of the container. It was like leaching through the lid, and I'm driving home. I had a 90-minute-ish drive home, and I literally thought I was going to pass out in the car from the shit leaking out of the container that we put it in. But it was, I felt it was a more humane way to take care of the chicks. And then I set up my gas chamber later on, and that was that was interesting. That was an easy way to dispatch a bunch of young animals for product. So I just made that out of a butcher box cooler and a tank of CO2 and a regulator. Fed it in, turned it on. They all went to sleep, and good to go. Pop them in baggies and throw them in the freezer. But anyway, understand you can't save them all. If you get into homesteading, you get into raising animals, you get into growing your own food, you have to really look at it as that's what it is. That's what its intent is. That's what it's going to be. And it takes time, but you'll eventually separate production from pets and things like that. Food Forest Farm says that would have been a fun traffic report to read. Knocked himself out with ether while driving. Accidentally huffed ether through a container because they weren't smart enough to put it in a container that actually was supposed to store it. Jim says line up a bunch of little killing cones. Well, the problem was the customers. So these quail, even adult quail, I would just snip the heads off with scissors or twist it and pull it off on the adult ones. They the customers wanted them to look like they were alive. The reptile customers, the whole prey customers, didn't want headless birds. So I had to come up with a different way to dispatch them that made them look like they were still alive. So that's what I came up with, and they were very appreciative, and they really liked it. They really liked the product. So, just in case you're raising rabbits or quail, and you want to sell the little baby ones, and you don't have the heart to dispatch them physically, make yourself a little gas chamber. It was relatively inexpensive and worked fantastic. So. Other than that, guys, I got to wrap up. It's quarter after. Got to get the fuck out of here and get on with the day. I got to go another round at Delinquent Scully today. Got a bridge retrofit done yesterday. Got ramps put on each side for the cart, so no more throwing carts. Jim says, new and improved, now not headless. Right. The problem was I sold the heads too. Quail heads were $0.10 a piece, and rabbit heads were I think they were up to 50 cents a piece by the time I was done. And man, that's the easiest money you're ever gonna make. So out to Delinquent Scully today to do more prep for workday coming up here before SRF. If you want to check out SRF, if you're in the striking zone of getting to Camden, Tennessee, the first weekend of October or that week prior, we're going to be doing lots of events around in the general area. Scroll down into the video description, the audio description, find that SRF link, click on that. Nope, not there. Not there anymore. Just looked. Go to srf.com. I don't need the commission. I mean, I do need the commission, but whatever. Go to check out Self-Reliance Festival. You can get in-person passes or digital passes, and you can hang out, meet me, and a shitload of other people. So check it out. Other than that, have a fantastic day, guys. It's Thursday. We're coming up on the weekend, rolling in Friday Eve, as Pip likes to say. Get through your Friday Eve. Make it count, because hey, it's another day. You have an opportunity to make it count, to make it a good day, to make it an exceptional day, to do something to the positive. Do it today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Have a great Friday Eve, guys, and we'll see you in the morning.